And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And folks, this is Good Friday, part of the resurrection weekend of Yahusha, the Christ, who put his life on the line for us. So we got a couple of things today while in this celebration for all Christians and really for all people who have a relationship with God. This is your weekend. So we got a couple of topics we're going to talk about today. I have a great panel in to do the show. We're going to talk about birthrights, the Supreme Court. We're going to talk more about how the illegals continue to profit, and now they're asking for reparations for them. And also we're going to dip into the fact of what's going on with the Chicago Bulls when they released Brother Ivy. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. You're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Y'all come on in. And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And first, let me give all praises to Yahuwah and Yahusha. That's God and Jesus in Hebrew. Well, folks, this is Resurrection Weekend. And according to the Bible, Jesus has already been laid in the tomb. This is Friday, and it's known as Good Friday. And tomorrow on the Sabbath day, which is the seventh day, he will rise. Now, a lot of y'all want to say, well, Pastor, it's not Sunday. And you're right, it's not Sunday. The real Sabbath day is on Saturday. So I ask you to do research and find out more about things and about the life and death of Yahusha. That's Jesus in Hebrew, and find out how his name got to be Jesus. But in saying that, we're going to continue to glorify the name of Jesus and Yahusha. It's whatever that you decide. But there is a difference. So, folks, let me tell you what's going on. See, this whole birthright thing has gotten completely out of control. And to the American people and patriots across this country, we need to understand one thing right now, that the Democrats have continued to twist the Constitution, the meaning, certain words that they say, that they've changed the laws of the Constitution totally. 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution was created to make sure that the descendants of slaves, that's the black people on this country, meaning our children, would be able to be citizens because we were born on this soil and we are therefore true Americans. But now, as we can see, as time has went on, different administrations used the birthright to be able to open the doors. And it started with the crazy Barack Obama when he created DACA so that he could have all these illegals to come into the country. So y'all keep thinking Barack Obama meant this country some good, but he didn't. He's the reason why you see Minnesota with all the fraud. He's the reason why you see it in Illinois. You see it in Georgia. You see it all over. The Democratic Party in these blue states have figured out a way to make the biggest wealth transfer of all time. And they're transferring taxpayer dollars to their own personal organizations and bank accounts and killing the middle class of America. So in saying that, I want to get things started. Let me get my panel in today and we can get to going. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hey.
Morning.
What's going on now?
Good.
Guys, listen. Birthright citizenship. This whole thing is really getting out of hand because I heard the woman in the Supreme Court who said she's not a woman because she's a it, they, the, or whatever. That she said she's not a woman, but she have all the symptoms of a woman, talking idiotically about domicile, the definition of domicile.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't quite understand what the hell she was saying because what she's actually trying to do is find a word in the Constitution to attack it and try to justify that they have broken the law with the 14th Amendment because it was written for the slaves and our descendants. Andre, you up first. Dre, you up first. Can he hear us? Randy, go ahead.
You know, birthright citizenship, it's been a, how can I put this? A convoluted thing for decades now, unfortunately. And the way it's been interpreted through the courts, even through Congress, it has actually skewed with the what it says in black and white. Jurisdiction thereof, domiciliary, it simply means that you are here like domesticated, like a dog. You take a dog, right?
Okay.
You domesticate a dog. He's in your house, and you train him up and everything else.
Yes.
He is a resident of your household, type of thing. And that's what's been thrown off with this whole birthright citizenship thing. They think that because you were born on this soil, that you are automatic U.S. citizen. You do not find that conundrum. You do not find that in any other country in the world, that you automatically become a citizen just because you was born there, unless there is a dual, I guess you say dual citizenship or agreement arrangement, like through the military, ambassadorships and stuff like that. That's the only case. But just me flying over there with my girl and she's pregnant, and next thing you know, her water broke, and it's like, oh, I guess you're a Chinese resident now, citizen now. Look at that. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. And
yes.
it's just crazy to me. So we'll get into it.
Okay, Mr. Binky, I know Binky came prepared. Dre, I know your sound was gone for a minute. And so, Mr. Binky, I want you to lay the 14th Amendment out, and then, Doc, you can respond to Mr. Binky. Then we'll get Dre, and we're going to keep this show moving. Go ahead, Mr. Binky.
Well, the biggest problem we got is we're relying on the Supreme Court precedents in past cases and stuff. Wong Ark, I think, was the
Kim
case.
Wong Ark.
Yeah. And the court there is the ones that said that because he's here, he gets everything. Just my word. That's the problem we got, is we don't go back to the originality of it. And I've got what
right.
from Mr. Howard when they were creating the 14th Amendment.
Thank you.
And when they created the 14th Amendment, he says in there, The First Amendment is to
Happy
Section
Easter.
1, declaring that all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. There's their domicile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I do not propose to say anything on that subject except the question of citizenship has been so fully discussed in this body as not to need any further elucidation, in my opinion. This amendment, which I have offered, is simply declaratory of what I regard as the law of the land already, that every person born within the limits of the United States, subject to their jurisdiction, is by virtue of natural law and natural law of a citizen. This will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but still will include every other class of persons.
Yep.
What more needs to be said on that was not said?
Right.
They didn't even, I don't even think I didn't listen to all the arguments, all of it that they were talking. I don't even think they brought the fact up.
I don't think they did either, Steve.
And that's the most important one, because this is what created the
You got some music going on?
It's Dre's phone.
Okay.
It's his ringtone.
So
that's a snazzy ringtone.
Hello.
When we sit there and we think that the Supreme Court is the final arbiters, that's the problem. That's the big problem.
And to your point, Steve, that they even said, what if we rule that this needs to be legislated through Congress? So they're trying to kick the can back to Congress to say, hey, you guys figure it out. If you write a law or you write, clarification on what it is that the 14th Amendment should mean, we'll go with that, because we're not going to stay here going back.
I got an answer for that, Randy. And this is coming from Chris Ann Hall. Okay. This ain't coming from me. So
okay, Mr. Mickey, you doing your thing.
Chris Ann says the Constitution delegates to Congress the authority to uniform rules of naturalization.
Right.
It's improper for the President of the United States to define terms via executive orders. It's not proper for the Supreme Court of the United States to define terms in court opinions. It's Congress needs to do their job.
Right.
Yes.
Simply said.
And, to that point, Clause 5 of the 14th Amendment says that the Congress shall have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. So the Supreme Court doesn't need to kick it back to Congress. Congress just needs to do their job, to your point.
Yes.
It's right here in the Constitution.
Go ahead, Doctor. Let me see what you got to say. Then we go add Andre.
So and thank you, Steve, Mr. Binky. When you read out that argument and it goes into aliens and then it says other statuses, this is why domicile was brought up, because domicile actually does mean that you have the intent to stay wherever you are long term. An infant does not have that capacity. However, the domicile was mentioned 22 different times in Kim Wong Ark because they were trying to establish a status for him, because he did not have one. His parents were not naturalized. So technically they were here as long-term residents, which was allowed because they couldn't be naturalized at that time, because Chinese citizens of China, they were not recognized on American soil. So they didn't even have the capacity to become naturalized. So they were all here illegally, and they should have all been deported. So at that time, the Supreme Court, in my opinion, they abused the 14th Amendment because this person had no tie to slavery, born or naturalized. Because here's the argument. If we were just going to say anybody was born, you wouldn't use the term or naturalized, because it would not have a legal standing behind it. They gave it a legal standing and preference. But because they didn't go back to the original arguments done by the founders and done by the framers of the 14th Amendment, they have been allowed to abuse this particular amendment that was set aside 13th, 14th, and 15th to recognize a certain class of people as human beings in a country that says all men are created equal.
Andre, you're up. Andre?
Yes. Well, it's good to be back with you guys. We have talked about the origin of how this has started. We've gone to Wong Kim Ark. We've looked at the 14th Amendment, and we've seen some really weird argument about the jurisdiction there whereof Ketanji Brown Jackson talked about local jurisdiction versus national jurisdiction. And I feel like they're going to try to really muddle the waters around the jurisdiction thereof. Because, you know, if they can't really come all down to a verdict where they agree, and we get like you know, we don't get the vote in our favor, then we'll be in a situation where they decide that they may try to punt it over to Congress, whereas Congress can write laws or amend the work to amend the Constitution to be able to address the loopholes, but they won't. They have legislation in Congress right now that will deal with the loopholes that Trump is trying to deal with in his executive order. And I think this is where a lot of people get it wrong, because they're looking at this court case thinking that if we don't do something about this, then we're either going to be in a situation where Trump's going to get rid of birthright citizenship. That's not the deal. What he's trying to do, he's trying to address the loopholes that lead to fraud and abuse. And what we've seen is that every year, the children of the Chinese tourists, nationals, temporary tourists, and illegal aliens have around 350,000 babies every year. And once those babies become 18, they can sponsor their parents. They can sponsor other family members. And there's just this endless chain. We heard about a birthing center that got busted just yesterday as the court proceedings were going on. So this is a whole mess with birthright citizenship, and it needs to be addressed. And one more thing I'd like to say about this is that we might not get a decision from Congress. Congress may decide that they're not going to deal with it, that they're not going to touch it.
They can't.
Still another
they can't. It would take a ratification of states to change the 14th Amendment. They can't do anything.
The Constitution lays out. And I'm just not sure if this organization will include this in their convention, but there's something called the Convention of States, where if we get 34 states, they won't. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It takes a ratification of the Constitution in order to change the 14th Amendment.
They only deal with like fiscal responsibility.
Well, yes, that is one of the tenets. And so
frozen. I want to hear what he has to say.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You do not.
We can hear you. You sound good. We can see you too.
You don't want a convention of states. You do not at this time want a convention of states, because that convention of states, Mark Meckler has been going around with his made up BS about how convention of every amendment that we have had added to our Constitution has been done by Congress and approved by states. You open up a convention of states with the idiots that we've got running this country right now, that convention of states will take away our Second Amendment rights. They will make open borders. They will destroy our Constitution because it'll run wild.
But I'm just saying, but they would still have to ratify it in order to change an amendment.
I'm actually very familiar with Article 5.
Randy, you're saying something?
I'm very familiar with Article 5 and read tons of books and everything on it. But I'm not going to get into that portion of it. But the 14th Amendment already lays the provision to where Congress can write
Pastor Laurie,
laws to supplement.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I'm on a delay. Okay.
Yeah, you get the Congress can write laws to supplement as needed the 14th Amendment. So it don't have to be ratified. It doesn't have to be changed or anything. They can just say, hey, Congress, we can write this bill and make it into law. You know, if the president signs it, and they'll be done. That's what we can do with that. So, yeah.
But the thing,
but it's to a point where they're not upholding the law as it stands.
Right. Exactly.
And so
that's the
to
point.
come back with any type of quote unquote policy that legislatively goes against the intent of the law, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
they can't uphold the law as it stands on its face.
How simple can it be? Is to read the Constitution and read the amendments. That it's just that simple. This is not a hard situation.
If they haven't done anything about it till now, they know they can't because they know it would be wrong.
Right. But see, this is why I say the American people and patriots across this country, that we need to be more educated and more in tune to being able to find things out, because we find things out after they've already did it, and then we got to fight like hell to undo it, you know. And I think that shows like ours and all you guys shows that's broadcasting on our network, that's Truth Be Told, people need to be going to that platform, and they need to be looking at the shows with the different headings so that they can get a clear understanding on what's going on, because we're just not getting it.
Well, see, Dr. Nichols was hit on something there. When they do these laws, they've got to. Article 6, Section 2 says that all laws in pursuance and treaties to the Constitution are the supreme law of the land. So and as Randy brought up, they can do something in Congress. They have the authority, just like the 15th and 26th Amendment. You know, it says right in there that Congress has the power to enforce this article through legislation.
Correct.
So that falls in between the supremacy clause of Article 6, Section 2.
Right.
So as everybody said, they've got to read the Constitution before they start doing anything here.
But
go ahead.
But they're not, and that's the reason why I say politicians are not educated on the Constitution, because they've been doing things contrary to it. This case is, I'm gonna tell you how simple this case is. This case is simple. It's going in, reading the Constitution, and applying to law to the words that is written on the paper.
Already there.
That's just how simple it is. That would take away any birthright challenges, because illegals who have been born on this soil do not qualify to fall under the 14th Amendment, no kind of way. And I keep telling people, and black people, we need to understand this before we jump in with the migrants talking about, oh no, we need to save them. Ain't nobody saving us.
Right.
Ain't nobody saving us. And so we need to really keep our head together, because at the end of the day, no matter what we say, those people who are here are going to affect us.
Yeah.
Well, David, Miss Jackson made the comment, brought up something about the state's authority and the domicile.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to that, but I want to play a clip so that we can get clear on the 14th Amendment.
If the Supreme Court justices follow the 14th Amendment, if they follow the plain text in the original public meeting, this is a very easy legal case. What I'm worried about, Jack, is politics seeps into these cases, and I just hope that the Supreme Court justices showed up with their ropes today instead of their capes, instead of I hope they follow the law. The law is very clear. The 14th Amendment, the birthright citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment, was enacted to overturn the Dred Scott decision, the post-Civil War Supreme Court decision that said that the freed slaves are not American citizens. And so we enacted the 13th Amendment to outlaw slavery, the 14th Amendment to provide due process and equal protection to the freed slaves, and the 15th Amendment to provide voting rights to the freed male slaves. That was extended to Black women with the 19th Amendment. But as part of the 14th Amendment, we overturned the Dred Scott decision with the birthright citizenship clause, and it gave birthright citizenship to the freed slaves. Now, the language talks about all persons born in the United States subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And that part is key. You have to be both born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction. American Indians were not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And so Congress had to pass birthright citizenship for American Indians by statute. So you have to ask this dispositive question of these justices, those who auditioned as textualists and originalists to get their jobs. If American Indians are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States under the 14th Amendment, how the hell would illegal aliens be subject to the jurisdiction? And the answer is they clearly are not. Again, this is a very easy legal case.
It's so easy. Yeah, because see, we have a treaty with the Indians, right? That's how they're even allowed to have their territories, that tribal lands that I can't go into. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a United States citizen. I am not of that territory and tribe. They can off me and what? Okay. I don't have permission to be there. Stop it. Okay.
And
but we're going to justify illegal activity. It's really crazy.
Yep. He didn't mention that like you said, the Indians were given their own land to.
Exactly.
And he didn't mention either that our founding fathers all were adamant about people who were coming here that would have allegiance to this
country.
Yes. Yes.
That don't mean you just come here and it's all good. It's
right. You pop a squat and have a baby. What?
Yeah. And that's basically what they have been doing is they've been coming over here, just like Binky, you said that they was having these birthers clinics, that they was having babies, and long as they on the soil, they get to bring thousands and thousands over. And it wasn't even about that. That's what I'm trying to get Black Americans to see today, to see how much hatred that the Democratic Party have for Black people, that everything that Black people have worked hard to get, they've used it to help other people, and then crap on Black people and take things from us that was supposed to be about us. See, that's this is how bad it is. Go ahead, Doc.
Never start the conversation off with this. Why do we have the 14th Amendment? Plain and simple. Like, just ask that question. Because on its face, you have to say it was because we freed the slaves and the Dred Scott decision said we had to make a law. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
It does not include anybody else.
Dre?
That's right, Dr. Nichols. It doesn't include anybody else. And I don't think our community should be coming in with their capes and their lifesavers to try to save the illegal immigrants, because the executive order, the way it's written so that as long as there is one parent that has standing in the United States, then they're able to get the birthright citizenship. So it doesn't get rid of it. Also, it also says that and the reason that it's framed like that is because they want to ensure that the fraud that's been happening with people coming here illegally doesn't continue to happen. Correct. And another thing that the executive order does, it's not retroactive. So from January 1st, so from January 21st, from when he signed the executive order on, is when it will go into effect. anyone before that is not going to get dragged into immigration court and deported. Like they're before that cutoff. So I think that's what people need to know. We're not getting rid of birthright citizenship. We're making some amendments so that we can get rid of the fraud, so people don't continue to come to the United States illegally, thinking that they'll be able to become citizens.
Well, this is why I say the Democratic Party are using all sorts of tricks and ploys to really throw the American people off. And to the Black Americans, again, I'm telling you, they're trying to get us to be the damn support dogs, emotional support dogs again for their agenda. That's all it is. They keep searching for things that's going to piss Black people off, and everybody going to come running back to the Democrats so that we can continue to be destroyed with the open borders, the child trafficking, the drugs, the crime, the bad leadership, all of that. We have a situation in our communities across America that the Black community is not moving forward. Yeah. It is not prospering. And it's due to the leadership. And that's why I'm encouraging everyday people, get involved. If you have the passion, you have the heart, you want to help. You don't need a college degree to go to Washington, D.C., because everybody that got a degree ain't too smart. It just takes common sense and knowing how people want, what the people want. We got a bunch of educated fools sitting down there pontificating at the White House and in the state houses and stealing that money and put it in their pocket and saying, yeah, we helping Black people. We doing this. And nothing ever changes, guys. I want to play this clip, guys. I wanted to drop this in here about y'all girl, but I'm going to play to the people of Chicago. Let me say this. I can't wait to 2027 so we can run his ass out of town. This Brandon Johnson is idiot. He's a total idiot. First Chicago, he lied to us and said he ain't raising no taxes. He got in and said he wasn't going to defund the police, and he's done that. He's now firing every public safety person. He's firing the housing guy so that he can put a convicted bank robber in the place so that he could destroy Chicago Housing Authority, and they're fighting it. So everything that Brandon Johnson has done has not been about the citizens. He locked people out of City Hall meetings. They came up with bogus rulings to keep the sanctuary city going. Everything he has done has been illegal. And yet and still, when Sheridan Gorman was murdered a couple of weeks ago, they was rallying, saying we don't need ICE, but J.B. Pritzker said it's Donald Trump's fault that she was killed. Y'all listen to this.
Us all to drive us apart. What sense does that make? And so I believe we can call for Black liberation and reparations and not cause harm in this globe the way white supremacy has caused across this planet. And anybody that would fall victim to that type of ideology, well then maybe you need a little healing yourself. And that's okay, because colonization is real. I think one group revolutionary said that somebody would stab you in the back with a knife and pull it halfway out and call it progress.
So let's start with a quick question, because you know I'm way too mentally unstable to be dealing with this right now. Democrats, are you fucking dumb? Here we go. This is being reported by the HuffPost. House Democrats call for reparations for children and families traumatized by ICE.
Boy. So we got to talk about the latest insane Democrat proposal.
All right, guys. Who up first? Anybody who want to take that on?
I will say this. The mere fact, I just wrote a small article about this yesterday on my Facebook post, by the way. The mere fact that the Democrats are now spewing the idea of reparations for illegals should tell you everything you need to know, Black community, about where their allegiance lies. If you need any more evidence, you're dumb as hell, and you need whatever happens bad in life to happen to you, because you just don't get it at this point. Because they're telling you to your face, yeah, y'all been arguing about reparations for the last 200
years.
We get it. Okay, but it's not your turn yet. We're gonna fight for reparations for these illegals that's been here for 3 weeks because they got here illegally and they got traumatized. Oh well, you'll be all right. Y'all keep on being all right. Matter of fact, y'all need to come and join us and fight and argue for their reparations too, and then we'll get to you.
Doc,
well, if anybody was paying attention, they kept saying immigrants built this country. Does anybody remember that? Past couple of years, they kept saying immigrants built this country. Immigrants, because black people, that's our basis, right? Slavery built this country. We deserve reparations because we worked here for free. Now, here's where their argument falls extremely flat. We can go to the appropriations bill, where there was $12 billion set aside for all this nonsense that we see now. And it says in there that they are supposed to get food and shelter and clothing when they come over here. So you did, and you have already given reparations to people who don't belong here. And so to turn around and say, these people, they've been traumatized, and by ICE, and we need to further help and assist them. I want every single Democrat that believes that, because they already 186 of them already voted against the fact that if any of them defrauded the federal government, they shouldn't be held accountable. Y'all need to be crazy. Out of office.
Andre?
Yeah, and I could just tell the intelligence of that crowd by the one guy that was just like 4 more years for Brandon.
Oh my God! Yeah, I heard that.
That to me in itself said everything I needed to know. But to Dr. Nichols' point, why do we need to give illegal aliens another reparations package? They got free housing. They got hotels with pools. They got free food. They got a payment card. They even got free education. Like what else do they need to get? And my whole thing is, look at where it's coming from. It's coming from another second generation immigrant who happens to be in our Congress, who's not serving the American people. She's serving her own interests of illegal aliens and people from her country.
Yes, exactly.
So I am done, because when I heard it, I was just like, is she trying to piss black people off? But I haven't heard the uproar that I need to hear right now, because people in her own party are not speaking out against this. Because what kind of repair do you need?
Because most of them are immigrants.
What's that?
Most of them are immigrants.
Hell yeah. Right. They done got to the country illegally.
When you come to a country illegally and you've been given free services, you've been given free pretty much everything. There have been some of them that have been getting free houses. People have been putting in to like churches and providing them free houses from the ground up. Those are some of repairs that Black American citizens have not ever seen. So
the problem there, Andre, to that point, is it's not even the fact that they're getting these things, it's how they're getting it. Right. They're taking homes of people that worked hard, and just lost their houses through tax liens or through mortgage defraud, where they couldn't pay their mortgage. And
reverse mortgage scams.
That too, yes. And they're giving these houses to people, saying, "Hey, here's the keys. Don't say nothing to nobody."
Exactly.
And that's what they're doing. And you got the rest of us sitting back like, oh well, that's they're taking care of people. This is a humane thing to do. It's like,
Mr.
wow, Mr.
Binky.
Crazy.
I'm sorry, but now you ask a white supremacist here.
Or token supremacist. What you got to say?
They have had an ancestor that was involved in that dreaded Declaration of Independence that said that all men were created equal. I could be an ancestor of the founders who created a constitution that, but Mr. Johnson, if these illegals are traumatized, it's because you're not doing your job.
Exactly.
The governor's not doing his job. So if there's any traumatizing of these foreign illegals and stuff like that, it's not because of this white supremacist. Because we tried to make everything fair, we tried to make everybody equal, and if you don't choose to follow the rules, it ain't this white supremacist's fault.
Well, guys, you know, everything you're saying, and to the American people and patriots across this country, this is plain English, understandable, common sense. Like I said, all of us are saying the case is so easy, there should be no big argument. But I want to play a little bit of what Miss Tangi Brown said out of her infinite wisdom of saying who that she is. Let's see where she at.
And for the record, Dave, I'm not a white supremacist. I just get tired. I get tired of listening to people like Brandon Johnson
to follow up
on
what
that.
Justice Gorsuch was exploring with you with respect to domicile. Did I understand you to say that domicile is going to be eventually or is controlled by Congress? Who is domiciled? I'm struggling to figure out who is domiciled in your argument.
The domiciliaries are people who are lawfully present and have an intent to remain permanently. So that's a kind of black letter, understanding of domicile. Now, Congress can dictate that certain classes of people, legal entrants and so forth, cannot lawfully lack the legal capacity to form a legally binding domicile.
But if that's so, then doesn't it make the domicile for the purpose of the 14th Amendment turn then ultimately on Congress's will in a way that the framers did not intend? I mean, my understanding was the framers put this citizenship clause into the Constitution to prevent future Congresses from being able to affect citizenship in this way.
Sure. Very briefly, no, I don't think so, because it is up to the alien whether or not they want to be domiciled here. Now, there may be collateral
I thought you just said Congress can make determinations as to who counts as being domiciled here.
Yeah,
so if that's true, then it ultimately would impact, in your theory, whether or not this person can claim that they have citizenship for 14th Amendment purposes based on Congress's determination. And I just thought that's what the 14th Amendment was trying to get away from.
If I may. Yes, please. Very briefly, I just point you to the discussion in Professor Werman's amicus brief where he talks about this is not a new problem. Going back even to the British common law,
based.
Okay, guys, your thoughts on it, Doc?
It was very convoluted and it was stupid because she was trying to basically get him to include domicile. Domicile, again, is the intent to stay somewhere permanently. Infants do not have an intent because they have to be under the jurisdiction of their parents. Wherever their parents have jurisdiction, that's where they lie. Aliens cannot determine domicile because they're aliens, right? And so they can't stand Cajun.
Mr. Minky, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm just saying. Did my answer make sense?
Yes.
Did my response make sense? Domicile does not have it. And she was trying to get him to admit that domicile is not included. Why he didn't have the confidence to say, no, domicile is not a statutory position. No one can claim domicile unless they are an actual resident or citizen of this country. Domicile does not apply to aliens or others.
Mr. Binky?
Does Miss Jackson understand that Congress created the 14th Amendment?
She don't know because she said she ain't a woman.
So if they created if they created the 14th Amendment, they can't. She's saying they can't amend it.
That's how she got here. She got to where she's at from the 14th Amendment. What's she talking about?
I don't. She don't know. My head started hurting when she said
she was again. She was trying to give domicile a legal position like temporary status or an alien or someone who's seeking asylum. Domicile is not a status; it is an actual intent. The 14th Amendment is not domicile. That's why we had to have a 14th Amendment. to actually make people whole. She was convoluting the question.
Dre?
Boy.
Yeah, and you can tell that the tactic was to muddy the waters, because she kept interrupting him. He couldn't respond, and she kept going with her weird arguments. And what we'll continue to see over the next few days are tactics like this. I just hope that they push back against them, like Dr. Nichols said, and we get to the root of the matter.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Go
ahead, Randy.
This is where I'm at with, Justice Jackson. She tried to pigeonhole the Solicitor General into saying or agreeing that domiciliary means being domiciled is one thing when it's clearly something different. And to your point, Dr. Shack, yes, to your point, Dr. Shack, it's the intent to stay and eventually go through the process of becoming a citizen and everything else.
Exactly.
That's what it means. And for her, she's trying to twist it and threw him off, because he's like, this is so beyond the pale of stupid. I can't even bring my brain cells down to this level to even converse with you on this, because it's so stupid what you're saying to me right now. And I get it, because I get caught up in conversations like that is so dumb that I can't dumb myself down to engage in it. So yeah, he was stupefied.
And here's the thing: is because of the Kim Wong Ark position. It's in one of the other justices brought it up. Domicile is mentioned 22 times. They used domicile as a statutory position,
right?
Not intent. So they made it as if domicile meant, temporary in the United States or paroled in, if that makes sense. I'm just using to.
Well, what they're trying to do is
that's what they were trying to do with domicile, and it doesn't make sense, because an infant cannot claim domicile. An infant does not have the capacity to do that, but they're not going that far.
But see, they need to just get back to, and this is why I say, man, they need to be arresting these fools that's breaking the Constitution. They need to be making it clear, because this whole birthright thing is a done issue. If you go strictly by the Constitution, the wording of the Constitution, and then we're gonna know that none of the birthright where babies were born here, illegal aliens don't have a right to be drawn in because of their kids are born here. This is all a ploy by the Democratic Party to continue their efforts to try to destroy America and bring illegals over here just for a voting base to stay in power. People, you have to, the American people and patriots, you have to really look at where we're standing at now. The Democratic Party is really showing their hand, like you said, Doc, like you said, Andre. They showing everybody that, especially to Black Americans, we don't give a crap about you. We don't care. We're going to keep giving in reparations. Guys, I got to play a little bit more of this clip.
Reparations to the Hispanic community and to the legal aliens. Yeah, give it to
Here
them.
you go.
Representative who says that we need to have some type of reparation.
There you go.
A lot of Black voters, a lot of Black people are upset by this, right? They're upset, and low-key, they kind of feel betrayed by the Democrats pushing reparations for illegals over Black Americans. Take a look.
Y'all, check out this video of this representative who says that we need to have some type of reparations for the people who are traumatized by ICE.
We need offensive actions around prosecutions. We need real accountability, because at the end of the day, the people that have been inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation.
Why is everybody all of a sudden now talking about reparations? Reparations this, reparations that, like just tossing the word around like it's nothing, just diluting the whole idea of reparations. And this is the reason why people are starting to see that the Democratic Party is not for Black Americans at all. The Democratic Party has never been in our favor. They will prioritize and give everything to everybody else, every other minority group, POC, that comes over here, whether if it's illegally or legally. They don't care, as long as they will do anything for them, but won't do nothing for us. Because when have you ever heard a Democrat talk about giving reparations to the descendants of chattel slavery in America? The only people who actually would deserve the reparations. Why are you talking about reparations for people who are traumatized by ICE, by immigration enforcement?
Did you guys know that they are now trying to get reparations for illegal immigrants?
Inflicting this harm need to be prosecuted. They need to be brought before us, and they need to be held account for the trauma that they have created, and we are going to have some form of reparation for the kids and the families that have been traumatized through all of this.
We've been traumatized. Seriously.
Black Americans, if you haven't picked up on it yet, we are mystical. We are some magical motherfuckers, okay? Everything that we do or say, it just catches on like wildfire. Everybody wants to be in the mix, right? I've been, reading up on the Bible and all kinds of things or whatever. And this is just too much of a coincidence. I refuse to believe that we're just regular niggas. I think we're different. We them ones. We're slowly waking up to it. Clearly, there has been an orchestrated effort to keep us from recognizing who the fuck we are. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel like a spell has been broken. Because just to step back and see, like, people tell us we have no culture while actively emulating us. Using AAVE, like, they're so deep in our shit, they don't even realize it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that last part was...
All right, guys, your thoughts on it. Go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
I will give, and I will shut up after this. I'm going to give a charge. I'm going to give a charge to the entire American Black community population in the United States. Come the next election cycles, if you all do not vote straight Republican ticket and kick every Democrat out of office to send them a message, you deserve everything that you get in your communities.
Dre?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Randy is right. I think people need to start looking at the results of our enforcement instead of getting swept up in emotions. Like they're coming after ICE and they're saying that they're going to put them on prosecution. But look what the results of ICE have been. In a lot of places in the West, like Arizona, Nevada, places where they have, even places in California where they have a high population of illegal Hispanic people residing in those areas, rent prices has gone down. You know, how many years have Black people been saying everything's going up, even the rent? You know, like the rent prices are going down because they're deporting these people. They're self-deporting, and the price is coming back down. And they've even gone as far as to offer a month, 2 months, or 3 months free rent to get people into these places that are being vacated by people that aren't supposed to be here. We're also seeing wages go up. We're seeing a lot of the jobs that typically go to illegal immigrants or the immigrant population. More jobs are coming up towards American workers. More American workers are getting jobs. So if you're going to look at who you're going to vote for, look at the policies and look at how the policies are actually affecting your lives.
Exactly. Mr. Binky?
Well, I didn't know enforcing laws was a bad thing, but you sit there and you listen to these people. First it's white against black, rich against poor, reparations for the Black community, that's got thrown off, reparations for illegals. It's all a distraction. It's all it is. It's just it's more division policy by Democrats. You know, next they're gonna tell us there's a fleet of UFOs coming here wanting reparations too. I mean,
I'm not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's
That's next on the list.
It's nonsense. We're adults here. We don't need politicians to sit there and tell us how we're supposed to treat each other. We don't need politicians to educate us. They need educated because they're not, as Dave said, they're not very smart.
No, not at all, man.
What I would like to see is I would like to see what they did in the early 1900s and revoke all passports from those who came over here with the birther tourism,
Mm-hmm.
because they did not have any intent of domicile and they were not legal residents. So so it's a double negative. So every single passport applied for a quote unquote dual citizenship for their children needs to be automatically revoked and they not be allowed on the soil. Now, what I was saying by going back to the early 1900s, it goes back to the intent of the individual. If they had the intent of invasion and to evade our laws just to purposely benefit from our laws, they need to have all of their citizenships revoked. I know what you're saying, Dre, that they can only go back a year, but if they can argue the intent of the individuals coming here, even if they came here and they were deceptively told you will get citizenship and you will get these benefits, it's still a lie on its face. And I think as the American citizens, we can demand that from our legislators and they have their citizenship revoked and be deported.
That's right, Dr. Nichols. And the executive order states that year, but the Trump administration has been looking at people's paperwork. And if they found that there's fraud in that paperwork, that makes it null and void, and they're deporting those people, even if they've been made full citizens in the past.
Now, guys, we're gonna switch. Go ahead, Randy. I'll let you go.
Just to Dr. Nichols' point, I wholeheartedly 100,000% agree that should happen. Because take, for example, you have the Chinese population, some of them, and the tourists, other tourist factions that come to the United States. They have a baby. They take their babies back to wherever they are after they get their birth certificate. And you don't hear from them ever until they become of some age where they come back and they try to establish themselves. At that point, it'd be like, no, you haven't been here. You never was here. You just got this piece of paper. Now you want to magically come back and try to take over. Have a good day.
And you know what,
Dave?
Go ahead, Mr. Bink.
Can I have a little? This is a quote from James Madison. He plainly said, "America should become the immigrant who could assimilate, but exclude the immigrant who could not readily incorporate himself into our society."
Come on.
See, our founders knew that immigrants were valuable, but they were only valuable to our republic is if they wanted to come here, assimilate,
and be a part of it.
Our customs, our traditions, and our way of life.
Right.
Exactly. And that's how it always should be, because I can't go to another country and tell them everybody got to start speaking my language so you can understand me.
I dare you.
And then but you know what, guys, we're gonna move right along. I got a couple of more videos I want to get your thoughts on. Okay, now we know that since Pam Bondi has been in office, this team has regularly says that she need to be thrown out because nobody is getting arrested. They went through Minnesota. Minnesota did all the crap that they did. Nobody's been arrested. J.B. Pritzker, Brandon Johnson, Mayor Wu in Boston, all the other blue state mayors and governors should be arrested for aiding and abetting criminals. Well, guys, y'all got y'all wish. Check this out.
Trump spoke with Bondi in the Beast on the way to the Supreme Court Wednesday and suggested it was time for a change. But sources say Bondi apparently believed she still could convince him to allow her to remain at least for a few more months. But in the end, her unwavering loyalty and public defense of President Trump was not enough to save her job.
President Trump, the greatest president in American history.
Despite saying we love Pam and calling her a friend and a patriot, President Trump announcing on social media that Bondi will be transitioning to a much-needed and important new job in the private sector. Now, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense attorney, will be taking over as acting attorney general. It was just days ago that Bondi and the president were seen outside the Supreme Court. While Bondi acted as his attorney and vigorously defended Trump during his first impeachment trial, sources tell ABC News that the president had been frustrated for months about Bondi's inability to bring successful prosecutions against some of his perceived enemies, like former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James.
We have to act fast. If they're not guilty, that's fine. If they are guilty or if they should be charged, they should be charged.
Those indictments were tossed out by a federal judge, and Trump was not happy with the way Bondi and DOJ handled the release of the files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, where the president's name appears multiple times, many of those mentions in news articles. Bondi had gone to the White House promising transparency on releasing the Epstein files, and there was this moment on Fox News when she was asked about an Epstein client list.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
But DOJ officials later said the list never existed, leaving many of Trump's MAGA supporters frustrated and angering survivors of Epstein, who were furious at the Attorney General for delaying the release of the files for months. Bondi refusing to apologize to Epstein survivors during a public hearing earlier this year, trying to pivot away from questions about Epstein by bringing up what she said were the administration's successes.
The Dow is over 50,000 right now.
Bondi becomes the second major cabinet official to lose her job in less than a month after Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was removed from office. Blanche is expected to pick up where Bondi left off.
All right, guys, your thoughts on it.
Blanche is no better because Blanche killed a lot of the actual cases that were in favor of Donald Trump and certain people that should not be going, you know what I'm saying, not be going to trial. He's thwarted those investigations from going through to exonerate the president. Okay, so Blanche it's like the devil you know or the devil you don't know. He is Satan incarnate. Okay, he has not going to help the president. He's worse than Bill Barr. Put it that way.
What do you think about that, Mr. Binky?
Yeah, I totally agree. Bondi was a do nothing. Did a lot of talking. You know, I don't care about the Epstein file, but it needs to be exposed. It needs to be put out there in full. I don't care who's in it or what's in it. Just get it out there. You know, too much stuff.
Right.
They talk too much and do very little. And then all of a sudden something comes up and it gets pushed back and not talked about no more. And then they hope it gets forgot about. I don't think things should be forgot about.
Yeah. And to jump in real quick, all of these federal judges that are going against Donald Trump, he could have fired all of them. See, he should have did the Obama method. He should have went in and fired every single federal judge.
That's what Obama did.
Federal judges are lined up to replace every one of them. I'm not talking about loyalists, but I'm talking about good federal judges that are fair.
Well, you know what? That's the whole thing of it is that, you know, people want to think that Obama really helped this country. He did help the country in one way, and that was to push the LGBT to the top of the food chain. That's all Obama did. His mission never was to fix this country, but to engulf this country in wars, kill other leaders because they were going to expose who he really was. Obama is a black guy, and for me, the worst president of all time, because he fooled the people into thinking that he was going to help black people, and he knew that he needed us to get into office. And when he got into office, his agenda was about the whole LGBT thing. I kept telling people, this guy is going to promote homosexuality. Everything that was said about him that people didn't know, now that they know, was true. So black people, we have continued to be duped, bamboozled, and swindled. You know what I'm saying? And run amok. I mean, it has to stop somewhere. But now we're in a situation to where we need to really support President Trump to undo some of the stuff that LGBT has done. It's the second night I've talked about the LGBT, and believe me, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. You just don't have to force it on me and my family and my children and try to force your way of life and accept everybody. See, let me give you a perfect example. This is the same tactics that the illegals did. They forced their way into the country. Everybody rallied around them, and they've been pummeling the American people to try to make the illegals a normal situation and new citizens in all these states. It's called a blitzkrieg. That's a German.
They've been doing it since '84. They've been doing it since amnesty the first time.
But that's what the LGBT did. They got in once Obama got that law passed, they infected the Army.
Marriage Act.
They did everything. They got into every way of life. The schools, they changed the curriculums, they changed the books. They wasn't teaching the kids with DEI. They allowed the homosexuals that was unqualified to go into the schools and not push education, but push homosexuality.
It's the new
And we
religion.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to have it. It's unconstitutional.
Look at
But
the
nobody
JB
wants to call it what it is.
Look at the JB Pritzker family. He got uncles that are in the military wearing dresses. JB is a homosexual. Barack Obama. Everybody in the state of Illinois, I'm telling you, that are these political people have relationships with each other, and that's why the Democratic Party really don't want to be exposed. But I think that the next clip I'm about to play is hitting home for me because here we are, Resurrection Sunday, this weekend. Yahusha, that's Jesus in Hebrew, laid his life down to regain what Adam lost. And here we are. The Bible, Leviticus 20:13 says, a man that lays with a man in the fashion of a woman is an abomination. And true, the homosexuals will say, well, a sin is a sin. And you are so correct that a sin is a sin, but the wages of sin is death. And in order to avoid the wages of sin, you must repent. And that's the situation that we're in right now. That because I just saw something that disturbed me. Not only have we seen the infection of homosexuality in the churches, I saw Barack Obama say Jesus the other day, and I know only demons can say his name. That bothers me. What bothers me the most is a Chicago basketball player, Ivy was asked to come to the Pride celebrations coming up. The young brother refused, and when he refused, he went on TikTok and talked about our Lord and Savior Yahusha. That's Jesus. He said how he had touched his life, how he was trying to spread the word of the gospel because of all the unrighteousness that we see in the schools with our kids. This the LGBT thing has gotten over the top. Doc, you said it the other day, and how they're influencing and pushing and shoving. The young man said, I don't want to attend that because I serve the one true God, Jesus Christ. The Bulls cut him from the team. His wife left him because he stood up for Jesus. Now, to all y'all Christians out here who will be hooping and hollering, talking about hunting Easter eggs on Sunday when that ain't got nothing to do with the resurrection of Christ. For all of y'all who call on Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Now one of our people, one of Christ's disciples, because just like he turned Saul to Paul, he always takes somebody that's got a voice to stand up for righteousness. So this young man stood up for righteousness. The team cut him, his wife left him. But to the American people and patriots across this country, if we don't take a hard look and a listen to what this young man is saying, our country is doomed because we've become the new Sodom and Gomorrah. And if we don't make changes, America's going to burn too. Y'all check this clip out, guys.
Breaking news. Jaden Ivey just got cut from the Bulls over his rainbow rant. Now we all know Jaden Ivey was never the same after the goddamn Pistons traded him to the Bulls. Well, his life just got a tad bit worse after he went on a goddamn 40-minute rant on social media. And I'm talking about a rainbow rant. And that ended his career when he said this.
That the world can proclaim LGBTQ. Right? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets. Unrighteousness. So how is it that one can't speak righteousness? How is it one that how are they to say that you man, this man is crazy?
Now Jaden Ivey might be the first NBA player to ever get CTE. Wait, maybe he ain't the first player. Maybe he the third player that got CTE after Dennis Rodman and Kai Jones. Or maybe he just speaking truth. One thing about God, he don't care who he used to speak his truth. Because for him to walk away from his final year of a $32 million goddamn rookie contract speak volumes to me. Because I'm quite sure he know that the NBA don't play by that goddamn rainbow. They gonna defend that rainbow over they goddamn players. And we all seen what happened to Tim Hardaway after he went on his rainbow rant. Back in the day, they got them closed his restaurant, took his jersey down, took his goddamn, you don't even hear nothing about Tim Hardaway Sr. no more. It's all about the junior until he say something about the rainbow. The NBA protect them goddamn chicks with the mushroom tips. They'll even get rid of LeBron and Steph Curry ass if they speak on the goddamn rainbow people. They don't play by that community. But I think the real question is, why they putting a crazy jacket on Jaden Ivey for speaking his truth? That's just the way he feel. I don't see nothing wrong with what Jaden Ivey said. I think Adam Silver got a little goddamn sugar in his tank. Maybe he want to taste the rainbow undercover. What? What? Cause can somebody tell me why the hell the rainbow people got a whole month in the NBA? Can you imagine? She getting out the shower and it's Pride Month. And you jump in the locker room and they got rainbow patches everywhere. And you know in them locker room they be bucket naked. And you putting on rainbow patches with a bunch of bucket naked men in the goddamn locker room just got out of the shower soaking wet. Man, what kind of agenda they pushing in the NBA? That's foul. Because clearly they want the fans to be broke from betting on the game, and they want them goddamn players to have a little sugar in their tape with them short ass shorts, taste the rainbow ass ninja playing in the game. That's what they want. The NBA already done got soft as butter on the hot goddamn stove, and they already on the decline with losing millions of goddamn fans and ratings declining and shit like that. Nobody ain't going to the game. They be having the camera zero.
All right, guys,
they're
give me
gonna
some
lose
thoughts.
more. They're gonna lose more. I can't even watch basketball, okay, until it's like May. You know why? Because they start their season in October, which is ridiculous. Okay. And then they go till July. Stop it. I don't even want to see it for 2 months. It's disgraceful. It's disgusting. This man is not crazy. He is a strong man of God. And if his wife left him, she's crazy. Okay. First of all. Yep. And if the NBA cut him, God has got something for him tenfold. You're standing up for him. And I'm looking forward to seeing the victory with this young man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Randy, go ahead.
I would say two things on this. Number one, the problem with the NBA is this. It is predominantly black, right? And what are they doing? They're pushing LGBTQ agendas in the NBA because they want to keep the black males effeminate. That's what it is.
And they don't want them to reproduce.
They don't want them to reproduce. And then, the ones that are straight, guess where they run into? You hard pressed to find black wives in the NBA. You're hard pressed.
Hello.
Hard pressed. There's very far few in between. And then the second thing I'm gonna say on that is that the Chicago Bulls, the NBA should be boycotted just for this principle alone.
There you go.
That they are firing a NBA player because of his beliefs.
Yep.
They don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in the fact that somebody has a religiously held conviction. That should prompt every NBA fan to say, I'm not gonna stand with this.
Hey, let's
boycott, we're
bring up
done.
LeBron in that maid outfit. Let's just talk about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mr. Binky, you go ahead on, and I'm going to expound on it. We're going to play the rest of this clip and get out of here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just be quick. You know, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. You know, and like Dr. Nichols said, there's something in his future is probably going to be a whole lot better.
Well, you know, for me, it's a total disrespect to God and Christ. That's what it is. It's like, how far do you go? You know, the word of God never changes, and you're not going to be able to change the word of God to fit your lifestyle. You know what you're doing is wrong, but you keep doing it because you just feel that everybody needs to know that you are here. And it's really sad. It's sad because you're trying to strip men of their manliness so that they can let themselves come down, not come up, but come down to the level that you at.
Yeah.
So that's what I find, and it's detesting for me to see as a pastor that all Christians who watch the NBA, I'm calling for a plan of action, a boycott. Let us boycott the NBA until they can make sure that Christians, boys and men that's playing in the league have just as much as right to say things as the homosexuals in their unrighteousness.
Come on.
He said something that was powerful. He said, how is it possible for all of this unrighteousness to be going on, which is happening, but I'm just saying that I found Christ and I'm seeking the kingdom and righteousness. How could you walk away? That's because God got a plan for him.
Yeah.
This is a lawsuit. Not only that, this should reinforce Christians across the country. On this resurrection holiday, we should deem to boycott the NBA for doing what they've done to one of our fellow Christians.
Come on.
That's what we should be at.
Don't forget
I can tell
his
you.
wife. Don't forget his wife.
And his wife that left him.
It's like Job.
Why?
Curse God and die. Really, woman?
Exactly.
Why did she divorce him? Is it because of his fame? Because of money?
She was there for money.
The money. That's why she was there. She was there for the money. She was
Just
there
for
for
the
the
money.
fame and the fortune. She wasn't there for him.
No, she was there for the cash.
definitely was not a Christian.
Well, you know,
Or a
and just like I
disciple.
said,
She believed all that other stuff.
I challenge every pastor that watched this show, and y'all watch my show. Don't act like you don't. I challenge you to stand up for Christ. That's what I'm challenging you. If this young man stood up for a $32 million contract and said Christ is king, I'm not going to go along with the homosexuality in the NBA. I can just not go to these functions because they're nothing but indoctrination points. That's all.
Yes.
He said, I'm not going to be
This gentleman, he is a disciple.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire. Okay, they wouldn't bow down to Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel in the lion's den. And the list goes on how God have used men and women to stand up
Yes. For righteousness.
for him. And this is what we need to do as pastors. I'm urging everybody until he gets his job back. Nobody, the numbers for the weak ass NBA, because you ain't got no superstar players. You got weak ass players that make LeBron James the big sissy like he's a great basketball player.
No,
He
they
ain't
need
no
to
Michael
lose what
Jordan.
they love.
He ain't
They
got
need to
nothing.
lose
Go
the
ahead, Doc.
money. They need
Yeah,
to
they
lose
need
the
to
money.
lose money. And Christians need to be
Lose
standing
billions and
up.
billions, because that's their God. That's what they worship. They worship degeneracy and money.
Well, if you're a man of God, if you got a church and you over Christians programs, all of us should be hollering like hell right now because this happened in the Holy Week. Check it out. Here's a sacrificial lamb who put his life on the line to stand up and say, out of all this unrighteousness, I stand up for Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If that don't move you as a pastor, if that don't move you as a man or woman of God, then you serving the wrong God. Let's play the rest of this and we're going to get out of here, guys.
There is a statement because it's a signal that he found his purpose in spreading God's word. But for some apparent reason, they want to label that man a maniac and say pray for him to goddamn get help. That's all on the internet. Pray for him to get help. He a maniac. Oh, I used to like him, but now he's saying this. What you saying? I don't think he need help. If anybody need help, it's the goddamn NBA. They the ones that need prayer and help right now. Because it seems like the universe ain't too happy with the devils that run that goddamn league. Because the NBA declining, falling. Oh, ain't nobody watching that shit. Man, listen, man, it's so bad right now. Man, listen, man, it's only the betters watching the game. And now the truth coming out about the league, by everybody in on the goddamn scheme. Man, and now you got the rainbow people speaking out. Now you got the players speaking out against the rainbow. What going on in the NBA? I need somebody to comment below. If you play in the NBA right now, comment below. Y'all look at the goddamn comment. Make sure you hit that goddamn like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. And make sure you share this video, baby. This Nino Brown Sports.
The Pistons not gonna matter on Judgment Day. People don't care. That's why they look at me as just an athlete. Oh, we want to see you play, Jay. We want to see you on that court. Man, we miss you here on the Pistons. Man, it's all about basketball. Right? But it's not.
I think as a child, I just never felt love before. I never, felt what true love felt like. And I, as I grew up, there were some, traumas that I went through that I don't really, explain to people. But, I definitely was sexually abused as a kid. There were some things that I, saw, that I don't really even talk about, but I know there was, a seed that Satan tried to, use at an early age. And, that was tough, obviously, growing up. But as I grew up, I just tried to, seek the wrong things. Even in high school, I, tried, sleeping with women, to fulfill a certain void in my heart that, as I continued to, just grow as a man, I was trying to fill a void. Slept with women. I tried drinking alcohol. I tried going out to party. Tried to, fit in with the world, basically. I tried to, dress like other people. I tried to, look like other people. I didn't, necessarily felt love before. And as I, went through college, even in the league, before I, married my wife, we had went through, trials together. I dealt with anger. She had to deal with a lot of anger that I had in my heart. And, that turned into, me somewhat being a abuser. And I'm not saying that was it, but, I there was things that I tried to fill in my heart. There was voids that I tried to fill in. And I'm so grateful for my wife because she's been there for me through thick and thin, like through every bad moment of my we've been together almost 4 years now. We've been married for almost 2. And she's been there for me through thick and thin, like literally. And so as I'm, in the league, me and my fiance at the time, we're about to have our first son, Noah. Throughout that whole year, I still struggle with the same things, drinking, I had a pornography addiction that I dealt with for a couple years. It just wasn't working. I tried it, nothing else was working. And I remember we were in Denver, Colorado, and I sat in the room and I'm just bawling, I'm just crying, like I don't know how to stop this pornography addiction. I'm about to have a child. I'm like, I have to grow up. I have to there's big things happening in my life, and all I could think about was just like my son having to go through problems that I went through. And I just called out to Jesus. And I'm like, Jesus, just please change my life.
Yes.
Like, just do something miraculous. Just change my life, please.
Your thoughts, guys? We got to get out of here, man. That's so deep, man, because all of us who have been in life, even myself, when I found Christ, all the money and the houses and the cars that I had, it meant nothing because my life was on the line. And so I know where he's at psychologically. He don't care about that right now. His relationship with Jesus Christ is the most important thing. And I'm praying for him, and Christians need to stand up across the country and help our brother. Doc, your last words.
Yeah. Well, I just know God has a plan for his life, and I'm so grateful in his humility.
Yes.
In his brokenness to actually share his heart with us and others, because you never know who that's going to fall upon, who's in that exact same spot where he is, and they don't know what to do, you know. And that's pretty much where God always puts us, right? He puts us in a corner, a situation where it's like, okay, I'm it. You know, you can call out to me, I got you. But we always have that free will, right? To go the other way. And so I'm glad he chose Jesus over going into the dark.
Uh-oh.
You disappeared, Doc.
She said something. She said something she wasn't supposed to say.
Can you hear us?
They said that's enough.
Take away a blessing from somebody. You stop that.
Yes. I would just say, you know, for him, he is in a he's for him to be so young, he's in such a high spiritual place that a lot of people are looking at him like, you're weird, dude. But because they can't relate to him, he can't relate to them. That's why he said, you know, I'm trying to fit in, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. It's not for you, guy. You know, you need to look at, you know, what it is that you're bringing to the table, and either they're going to eat or they're going to be hungry at the end of the day, because what you're doing in your life, you're transcending above what everybody else is doing, and they hate you for that because you found who you are. You're just trying to figure it out still, but at the end of the day, it's there. He's just too young to recognize it. It's just like a young Jesus. Like young Jesus, he knew he had something, but it was just like, I'm not old enough yet. I'm not mature enough yet to get a grasp on this. But once I do, watch out. Here I'm coming. You know, so I you know, God bless the young man. He's going to be all right. This is we can't have trials and tribulations without, you can't be successful in life without going through trials and tribulations. And this is just one of the trials that he's going through. So,
set him aside.
I think a lot of the things people today look at as somebody else, idolizing somebody else, you know, whether it's an athlete, a movie star, or politician. And he finally seen the light. He put God above him, and then he put himself next, you know, and he's not looking to be like somebody else no more. He's wanting to be him. You got to commend the guy for that.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Man, you know what? The devil's a liar. That was a great thing. How could my mic just stop working all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? But what it proves is this. What happened with the young brother is that he had did everything he could. He tried it all, and then he tried Christ Jesus and was saved. That's at the end of the day. Okay, your last words. Y'all got y'all last words in?
No, we were waiting for you to come back.
Y'all go ahead on. I gotta find, man, I'm telling you. Go ahead on. I gotta find the show. Y'all do what y'all think. All right, I'm back.
Don't forget to pick up my book, Polarizing America. Pre-order. It'll be out April 14th. You go ahead to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all that good stuff. And thank you all to today's panel. Love coming on, and we getting it in, talking about all this good stuff. So I appreciate you all, and I hope you all have a fantastic Friday. And don't forget, remember everyone deployed, Red Friday, and happy Easter weekend or Resurrection weekend to everyone as well.
Yes, and happy Resurrection weekend to everybody out there. The USA Redemption Party, we are looking for 50, yes, I said 50 U.S. senators to run in all 50 states. We are looking to run as a slate and to turn over our U.S. Senate. So if you are interested, please check out usaredemptionparty.com. That's usaredemptionparty.com. We are looking for servants of the people, not politicians.
And Mr. Binky?
You got to put God above you, and you're next. Spend time on yourself, look at yourself, see what you want to be, and do what you want to do.
And guys, I want to thank y'all for coming on this Good Friday. We had a few technical difficulties, but that's okay. The message of the Lord got through today, and I hope that what that young man said would ring to it's probably going to reach out for some of the same people in the NBA that's doing the same thing he doing, and hopefully that'll be a saving grace and they'll find Christ too. You guys have a great Resurrection weekend. I'll be talking to you free time Monday. Blessings. Have a great weekend. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to the show. I want to say share it around. You can be able to watch our show at our new platform. That's letthetruthbetold.lightcast.com. It's running down there on the bottom. You can find us at X at David Lowry Jr. 1. You can find us at Instagram, David Lowry Jr. You can find us at Rumble at David Low 1057. In YouTube, Moments of Truth 9920, LinkedIn, David Lowry, and you can find us on Facebook, David Lowry Jr., also on Twitch, David Lowry 31. These are my last words. Yahusha died for our sins. He made a way that believing in him that you can be saved. This Resurrection weekend, I would ask all Christians to reflect on what he did and how he put his life on the line that those who didn't have a relationship with God could be saved. So I'm asking you this weekend to go out and help somebody. I'm asking you this weekend to provide a service for somebody. Do what Jesus Christ would do. Healed the sick, raised the dead, fed 5,000. All the things that he did, greater works that we should do after he's gone and sent the Holy Spirit. If you're a man and woman of God and you have received the Holy Spirit, let us rally around this young man. Let us pray for him, and let us hold the NBA accountable for what they have done against God. And let us stand for righteousness, because Matthew 6:33 said, first seek the kingdom and his righteousness, and all will be added to you. Have a happy Resurrection weekend. God bless you. I'll see you on Monday.